Good morning, everyone. Chevy just redesigned their second best-selling model last year. But despite that, for 2019, they have actually made several meaningful updates and added some more equipment to the lower trim levels. Special thanks to Sutherland Chevrolet in Nicholasville for providing this loaded Equinox Premier in iridescent white pearl. But like always, we will cover the other trim levels as well. If you're in the market for any new Chevy, be sure to stop by or visit their website, which we have provided a link to in the video description. So with that, let's go ahead and get to it. Starting out here with the exterior design, it wears the latest Chevy looks with all the signature elements like the split grille. Now about a year and a half ago, we reviewed the LT model, and I'm impressed by just how much more upscale this Premier looks. The biggest difference is the fully chrome grille, instead of being black with a chrome outline on the other trims. Another key difference is this model's full LED headlights, instead of the HIDs you'll find on the LT and the halogens on all the rest. However, every trim comes with the nice looking LED daytime running lights. The turn signal is in a separate housing at the bottom, which also contains the halogen fog lights on the Premier. Moving to the side, the Equinox measures in at 183.1 inches long, which is larger than the Escape and CR-V, and almost identical to the RAV4 and Rogue. Still, it manages to look bigger than those rivals, thanks to a unique design where the rear quarter window flows into the back glass. This makes for a smooth wraparound effect that goes nicely with the smooth taillights. The design itself is always the same, but you will lose the LEDs on the lower trims. And then as far as your lower areas, nothing is really going on unless you opt for the 2-liter turbo with dual exhaust. All in all, the Equinox looks handsome and thoroughly modern, and it does a good job of avoiding silly design cues that don't age well. Continuing the upscale look of the front are alloy wheels measuring at least 17 inches across the trims. These wheels obviously are not 17 inches, they're actually the optional 19 inches that come in the creatively named Sun, Sound, and Navigation package. They would be standard on the 2-liter Premier, and our 1.5-liter would have standard 18-inch alloys. All the other 3 trims under Premier get 17-inch silver painted alloys. Moving up to the mirrors, they come in 3 different finishes, with chrome reserved for only the Premier, along with auto-dimming abilities and standard blind spot monitoring. All models, however, do get power adjustment and heating. But more important than the mirrors is safety, and the Equinox excels here. It scored the best rating of good on all of the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety testing, with the exception of the new headlight test. There are also many active safety features, like auto high beam headlights, lane keeping assist, and new for 2019, full speed adaptive cruise control, and automatic emergency braking with pedestrian detection. Just be aware that you can only get these features optionally on the top-end Premier, while some rivals have them standard across all trims. The last thing to look at on the outside is the fuel tank. They are either 14.9 or 15.6 gallons, giving the front-wheel drive 1.5-liter a range of 417 miles, and the all-wheel drive version a range of 421 miles. And even though all the engines are turbos, premium fuel is only recommended for the 2-liter turbo. Well, that finishes off the exterior, so now let's see the new tech inside that Chevy has added for 2019. So just like last year, Smart Entry continues to be standard on all Equinoxes, but you'll only get remote start on the Premier trim. To get into the vehicle, there is no sensor behind the door handle, so all you have to do is press this button. Now, if you haven't seen the new generation of the Equinox yet, you'll be shocked at just how different it is from the cheap interior of the outgoing model. Now, of course, like any car in this class, there are a ton of different color and material configurations, starting with cloth seating on all but the Premier, available in only medium ash gray for the L and LS, and then the additional colors of black or cinnamon on the LT. Our Premier is finished in the medium ash gray, but you can also get jet black or an exclusive brandy color. Now, turning to the door trim, it continues to be very premium, so you have leather over almost the entire thing. As far as your windows, they are one-touch automatic, up and down for the driver and auto down for all the rest. And then you will also find two-person memory seats on the Premier trim. Turning to the seats themselves, they are 8-way power adjusting on the LT and Premier with power lumbar support. The others are 4-way manual. Of course, like I already said, leather is standard on the Premier only, and it has a really nice contrast design with black around the outside and then gray in the middle. So last year we reviewed the LT trim, and I'm impressed by just how much more upscale this Premier trim looks. And of course the materials are also upscale as well. All of your upper dash is made from hard touch plastic, but once you get into the middle areas, you've got this really nice looking perforated leather with contrast stitching. It continues through here, and then lower areas are hard touch, but they fit together really nicely. You do have standard push button start on every Equinox. For the screens, you've got a 7-inch display on most trims or an 8-inch display on this Premier trim. Now, it does have upgraded software this year, but we'll get into that a little later in the video. So what you're looking at now are the upgraded gauges that now come on the LT and Premier instead of just the Premier this year. In the center, you do have a 4.2-inch multifunction display, and like the main screen, it also has updated graphics. So you can just scroll through all the standard affair of information, including your navigation, phone, and any available safety systems as well. Now, coming back to the steering wheel, you will find electric power steering and this leather-wrapped wheel on the Premier trim. It is optional on the LT. And then above that, you've got a bunch of controls, including the heated steering wheel, optional on Premier, and also adaptive cruise control on this model, again, optional on Premier. And then on this side, you got your phone and multifunction display buttons. The wheel itself does manually tilt and telescope. Now, as far as storage is concerned, the Equinox has a very impressive amount. Starting out with your center console, frankly, it is huge for the class. It's at least twice as big as what you'll find on the 2018 RAV4, so tons of space and extremely deep. Plus it is illuminated, and you also have 2 USB ports as well. In front of that, you've got a little space for your phone or something like that. And then up in the front, you've got another big space, which even doubles as a wireless phone charger on the Premier. If you don't use wireless phone charging, you also have a USB Type-C, a regular USB, an aux jack, and a 12-volt outlet. Chevy was able to give you all that space without going to an electronic shifter like its GMC Terrain sibling. So for drive, of course, you just pull back to the D, and you can go back again to the L, where you can shift manually with these little toggles. When you go into reverse, you'll see one of the other 2019 changes, and that's an upgraded surround vision camera. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to tell through this camera or not, but this is much, higher resolution than last year. This new system has a ton of different views, including your traditional back view, a zoomed in view, and even this really cool frontal view. So overall, I'd say this is the best 360 camera in the class. However, it is only optional in the Premier, so all the other trims will get a regular backup camera with trajectory. And then back behind the shifter, you will find an electronic parking brake. Now moving on up to the climate controls, we have the dual zone automatic setup that comes on the Premier or optional on the LT. Now of course it is very simple to use. All your controls are down here, so you just twist the knob to adjust the temperature. You can adjust the fan speed right here. And it's kind of hard to see, but this line lights up depending on what speed the fan is on. So that's pretty neat. And then in addition to that, you will find 3-stage heated seats standard on the Premier trim, and then 3-stage ventilated seats optional on the Premier trim through that Confidence and Convenience 2 package. And now that brings us to the audio system. So let's go ahead and sample this model's optional 7-speaker Bose premium sound system. Sound quality of this system is excellent. However, the other trim levels do come with a 6-speaker sound system instead. Anyways, now that brings us to the brand new version of Chevy MyLink, so let's go ahead and take a quick look. So like I already mentioned, this is a brand new system this year for 2019. They're calling it Chevy Infotainment 3 instead of MyLink, which I already mistakenly said. Now, of course, this does have brand new graphics in line with some of the other systems you've seen on General Motors vehicles. So to start out with, you do have a home screen that you can swipe between pages. This is a quick menu where you can tap into these things to quickly access them. So here in your audio, you can play and pause. Right now we're connected through the Bluetooth. At the top, you've got your presets, which you can swipe through, and then along the side, you can also scroll between your different sources. Now one nice feature is that you always have these shortcuts along the bottom, so you can quickly go into other sections like the phone. In here you've got your regular stuff like the keypad, and you also have your contacts, which have automatically synced over from my smartphone. You can also search by letter as well. Now that this is loaded up, you can see this is a brand new version of the navigation system. It's got brand new graphics, and of course the response is much better. We've also got some unique features, kind of a 3D mode where you can tilt, kind of like you can on Google Maps. However, most models will not have integrated navigation, but all models will have both Android Auto and Apple CarPlay abilities. This, of course, allows you to still have access to navigation functions even if you don't pay for it. Now, as far as other things to point out, you do have a Wi-Fi hotspot available on all models. You get a trial period, and then after that you will have to start paying for it. Well, that's more or less the main features of the Chevy Infotainment System 3. But if you want to see an even more detailed tutorial, we have provided a link to our tech help video in the video description. Moving on up, you will find an auto-dimming mirror on the Premier, as well as separated universal remotes. Now one really nice feature of this Premier is this nice panoramic moonroof. As you can see, it is really huge, goes all the way back past the second row. It really adds to the upscale vibe of the vehicle. This is optional on the Premier, by the way. So overall, the 2019 updates have taken what was already a really nice cabin and made it even nicer. And like all GM vehicles, you do have a rear seat reminder. Now I'll go ahead and hand it off to Mason, who will finish up the rest of the cabin.
The back door trim of the Equinox is really nice. You've got a padded material all the way up here and down on your armrest. Additionally, your window is auto down. Down below that, you do have some door storage, perfect for a bottle. Now in the back of the Equinox, you're going to find a class competitive amount of space. You'll find 39.7 inches of legroom and 38.5 inches of headroom. That puts it above the Ford Escape, but below the Honda CR-V. Additionally, your seat design is a really nice one. It's multicolor, perforated leather, and it's very comfortable. Can also recline. Now once inside the Equinox's rear seat, you're going to find a large amount of amenities. You do have these nice vents on all models, which is something that most competitors don't offer, and you will also find heated rear seats optional on the Premier. Additionally, for 2019, these two smart charging USB ports have been added to all trim levels. And down below, we do have a household style outlet. There is a nice armrest with some cup holders inside. And above it, you have that huge panoramic moonroof. Additionally, Chevy does give you an assist grip and LED light. Now, as far as rear space is concerned, I have plenty of it behind Drew's position. I have about 1.5 feet of space between my knees and the seat back, and my feet can easily slide up under the seat. Even with the seat all the way back, I still have plenty of room. So overall, I'm a huge fan of this Equinox's rear seat. The Premier trim adds features that are uncommon in even luxury cars, and overall it has a ton of space and rear seat comfort. The rear seats do fold 60-40 split, so just grab this little tab and pull forward. Now coming around to the tailgate, it is hands-free power on the Premier trim, or optional power on the LT. To open it, just wave your foot under the bumper. Now inside the cargo department of the Equinox, you're once again going to find a class competitive amount. You'll find 29.9 cubic feet with the seats in place, expanding to 63.5 cubic feet with them folded. That does place it behind some of the bigger competitors like the Honda CR-V. Underneath the cargo floor, you do have some additional storage. Lots of it, and it goes all the way back. Additionally, you do have these little cubbies on the side here, and you can fold the seats back here. Overall, a good amount of space and a flat loading floor. The passenger seat is that same design, and it is 8-way power adjusting with 2-way power lumbar support, optional on this Premier. In front of the passenger, you do have nice materials with this nice perforated leather. Down below, you do have a glove box. It is dampened and really good sized. Top, you have a sun visor with lighting, gently fades in. It does also detach, and it can extend. So overall, that's all I have to cover up here, so let's go ahead and get to the powertrain section of the video. So under the hood of the Equinox, you're going to find 3 different engine options. Every trim level, including the Premier, comes standard with this 1.5-liter 4-cylinder engine, producing 170 horsepower and 203 pound-feet of torque, and it is paired to a 6-speed automatic transmission. However, you do have a more powerful option, which is a 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, and that produces 252 horsepower and 260 pound-feet of torque. And that engine is paired to an upgraded 9-speed automatic transmission. Finally, the Equinox is available in a 1.6-liter turbo diesel engine, and that produces 136 horsepower and 236 pound-feet of torque.
Which, of course, is very rare for the class.
Yes, and it is routed through a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now, with that said, the Equinox is available in front or all-wheel drive, so that makes for 6 different fuel economy figures. I'm not going to go through all of them, but our 1.5-liter turbo all-wheel drive is rated at 24 city, 30 highway, 26 combined.
And we'll add the rest of the ratings to the screen. Alright, so we'll go ahead and take it on a quick drive. Now there's a customer waiting on this model, so we're not going to go far, but we'll quickly get some impressions. One thing I do want to mention is the surround vision camera. When you're at low speeds, even in drive, it goes ahead and activates, so you get a front view as well as your 360-degree view, so that's pretty handy.
And it's very high resolution as well.
From the 1.5-liter turbo feels pretty good. It comes on linearly, so there's not a bunch of turbo lag or anything like that, and it feels every bit as powerful as most of the other offerings in the class. Last thing we'll talk about is the auto start stop system, so I'll see if I can get it to trigger here. Alright, it just powered off. We'll see how nice it starts up. Alright, that was very quick, and no rumbles or anything into the cabin, so nothing coming through the steering wheel or anything to get on your nerves or anything. It is worth noting it is not defeatable, though, so...
Hopefully you like it.
Yeah, so hopefully you do like it.
But they did do a very good job with it. I felt absolutely nothing inside the cabin here, so I doubt that most people on a day-to-day basis would notice.
We've been in luxury vehicles that
have a lot worse than that.
A lot worse systems than that. Alright, so overall, really am impressed by the way the Equinox drives. Again, it feels like it has plenty of power, a good shifting transmission, and a great ride. And of course, the cabin is overall very comfortable, so it all complements to make a nice overall package.
Well guys, we've enjoyed watching the first in-depth look at the 2019 Chevy Equinox Premier. Stay watching for a quick overview of the pricing, and don't forget to hit those like and subscribe buttons below. We'll catch you next time as we sample more of the latest automotive delicacies.